You're listening through your mic?
Yep, I have a Samson Meteor mic is the name. Samsung, not Samsung. It's like a $70 USB, $79 USB mic, and there's a headphone jack in the back where I can plug the mic and I can hear people. I had to do this with another program that wouldn't allow the audio to go through. Like you could hear all the sounds but the voices for some odd reason.
Okay, well, we're streaming on Twitch now, so Arte, stop swearing. Just kidding.
It's good call. Let me go here. Let me do this.
Well, there's only 7 people in my buddies list, and 3 of them are you. 3. Which is not too good.
The Cavern Tours t-shirt. So,
oh yeah, we need to promote those. The Cavern Tours t-shirts.
Go in and out in here.
So the stream chat's working.
Okay, let me say hi.
I discovered something a little neat. If you take the game and put it in, I guess, movie mode, it makes the colors darker.
Okay, now Larry and Arte look the same.
Neurovac just said hello in the chat.
I thought you had a ponytail, Larry.
I actually, a little while ago, I got sick and tired of dealing with my hair and went and got it cut.
Oh.
So since I'd always had short hair when I was growing up.
Germany, Portugal. Well, we've seen some scenes with Tuga.
Uh-oh, I hear something.
Yeah, that was... I mean, I don't have the headphone plugged into the
oh, okay.
computer yet.
I was wondering what the heck that was. Anyway,
So this is your summer do?
something like that. I was going to say that I didn't grow up with long hair or anything like that, so I still haven't figured out how to wash it properly. So...
Okay.
After getting sick and tired of tangling up my hair every time I took a shower, I finally got it cut.
Yeah, I just wash my hair with water. Yvonne. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to see chat and the stream at the same time without taking up my full screen.
I turned the game to 720p, I believe.
Oh, you know what? I had to turn off my bookmarks.
I'm actually using a browser called the Dolby on my other one.
And where's the coffee mug, Larry? Do we have that ready?
Oh, it's just off camera.
Because I always worry when I don't see it.
Well,
You might just nod
I
off
don't
right in
know.
the middle of the tour.
I don't know how the
Oh.
heck you could miss it when I pick it up.
Well, one thing
Because
about the tour, let me just say, I may be using the cave room book going in and out. So just be aware of that.
Cave room book.
It's a pun. Think about it for a second.
Cave room book. My coffee hasn't kicked in yet.
Yeah, think about it like this. What do we not see in the cavern all the time and we complain about it?
Oh, a restroom?
Yep.
Oh,
So, cave room, the cave room book.
okay.
There's one nice thing about when you're on Deep Island, you can enable a loo on your
Really?
Relto. Yeah, it's just off of Calendar Island.
Oh,
that's
wow. Are you serious, or are
Oh,
you
yeah.
pulling our legs?
No,
Oh,
he's
I'm
talking. He's talking about the outhouse Relto page, and that one's actually kind of funny because what it is two planks stretched between the calendar island and one of the other little spires,
Oh, no.
and there's a shack sitting on top of that with the usual crescent moon door on it.
Oh, my
But
gosh.
when you open it up, the toilet, so to speak, is a section of hollow log over a hole in the floor. So you're doing your So if there's ground down there someplace, you're doing your business on top of whoever's down there.
Oh, my gosh.
That could be a real crappy situation. I don't know.
Oh, no. Oh, you guys are killing me.
Well, you can call that the way stage.
Oh. See, I was envisioning, I thought you were going to say when you open the crescent door and you go inside, you just fall through the age. But
No.
Oh yeah, do your business while you're falling through the fissure.
Actually, now I've got pictures of people squatting over at the starfish.
oh no, Darlene's here. Clean it up, guys. Clean it up.
Hello, darling.
Oh my gosh. Turn up the music, Larry. They shouldn't be listening to this.
Well, that's
Rose
interesting.
in the cavern now.
What's the channel name again, Larry? Larry
the
FW58?
Yeah, LWF 58.
LWF58, okay.
Right.
That would explain it.
Why is it number 58? I've always kind of been curious about that.
That's the
It's
year I
probably
was born.
his birth year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Larry's the oldest, and then me,
I
and
don't
then
know.
Arte.
Because when you stop and think about it, Jeff looks older than I do.
Well,
At least he's got a heck of a lot more white hair.
Just a little bit.
Let's see.
no, he's the baby. I'm 2 months older than you are, Arte?
Yeah. Woo. You're such an old woman.
Yes, in fact, my odometer flipped over on July 9th.
So you're one again?
Yeah. Yeah, everything resets to 0 every time the odometer flips over.
How many
I
times
would.
has it flipped over?
I don't remember. I'm too old to remember. Oh no, Ro has a Twitch channel? That could be dangerous.
I mean, I have one, but I never upload anything there. Something I couldn't do soon, but not yet.
It wasn't until I got the idea of doing this stuff that I actually used my Twitch channel for anything other than watching other people's streams.
Yeah. One idea for I have an idea from this online. It's just to have it kind of like a documentary, or just kind of like guessing where people want to go, and then I don't know, something like that. Letting the chat decide where to go and what to discover.
Thorkin always gets me because when you say hello to him, you're saying hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you?
Yep.
Or actually, hello, how are you? How are you?
You're gonna scare off the tourists. Oh my gosh.
Attain
So when I leaned and jumped at the exact same time.
Chan Chop Hair? I really don't know how to pronounce that one, but the cat is mentioned. It's the old Indiana Jones quote. It's not the years, it's the mileage. Say, and I will have you know that mentally at least, I am 20 years old with 44 years of experience.
Oh,
There you go.
Marobot's not online. I'm assuming Murfac knows that Marobot's not online. Murfac, are you there?
here's a call.
He's always so quiet. When he mutters to himself, though, I know that he's working.
Actually, he was part of, I think they call it the water cooler chat or something like that. It's a new game or related show that somebody's doing.
Oh, I didn't know about
And
that.
Murfac participated in an episode of that, which had to do with the machinima called The Lost Art. And he can talk loud, saying it. He's perfectly understandable, too. He just chooses not to when he's with us, apparently.
Yeah. I think he's concentrating. Well, Zeke, I was proud of you for beating both of us to the hood. You were here when I logged in.
Yeah, that's actually my normal thing. Even when the Cavern Tours, back when I was doing them, I would always be an hour early promoting it or doing something.
Cool.
So, that's nothing new. I'm just trying to figure out how to get my iTunes to sync to my iPhone now.
Okay. 10 minutes. Hello, Trompton.
I was explaining to Arte.
Okay, I'm going to
Last-
jump off the call real quick, but I'm going to join in a couple seconds. I'm switching
Oh.
devices.
Okay. Yeah, one thing I was explaining to Arte last month was one reason I created a specific Cavern Tour tune is so that I can buddy all the Cavern tourists, so I can remind them, when we're starting and whatnot, and keeping track of their whereabouts without spamming my other buddies.
Attain Connor.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, that's much better audio. Okay,
Arte, are
so
you going to join us in the hood?
Attain Chan Chop Hair apparently is Attain Connor in Gaelic. That's how it's would be pronounced that way, I should say. Which I would never have guessed.
Arte, are you going to visit the cavern?
Yes, I am. I'm, like I said, I'd
just
forgotten
logged
about
in.
the tour today, so I didn't spend my usual hour getting set up.
Okay. Well, I'm happy you're here.
How was the last tour that you did?
Great.
We had an average of about 25 people.
I am hearing
Mostly,
like an echo.
You're hearing an echo out of me?
I'm through Skype. I'm hearing
Oh,
a delay of about 3 seconds.
well, yeah, that was it.
Did you
so
mute?
am I.
Did you mute Twitch?
I have Twitch. Twitch is about 10-second delay, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, we learned early on that we have to mute everything except for Skype in order to prevent feedback. That's one of the reasons why you don't hear any sound effects from my game window. First time we tried doing this, the feedback was so bad we couldn't get anything done.
Arte, are you here in Twitch with us?
Yeah, I'm hearing both. And I'm trying
Yeah.
to figure out how to turn the sound off for Twitch.
Yeah, it's
On
there's
Twitch.
underneath the picture. There's a speaker symbol.
Actually,
Yep.
it's in the picture.
In the picture to the left.
I mean the Twitch window itself.
I got it.
Yeah.
You put your mouse on top
Yeah.
of it, and you get your controls.
I got it.
There we go. That would be me.
I haven't heard anything out of Murphac for a while, so I guess that he must be AFK.
Huh. There we go. That background was me.
Anathea, last month's tour was the first part of the Cleft. we were talking about characters that were involved with it. We're picking up again.
All right, I'm logging in.
Hello, Tony. Tony Mahoney. That's what it says.
Oh, Murphek muted his mic.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
He's probably muttering to himself.
Well, at this point, we're waiting for the bot to appear so that we know that it's okay to proceed. Ah, and speak of the devil, there it is now. Okay, let me go ahead and kill the noise. Okay, the photo that I have up as a background this time is a screen cap from the Dirt Descent preview. This was back when they were first starting to do Uru. They were going to have you go from the desert all the way to Denis along the path that Anna and the DRC followed to get there. But that turned out, I guess, to be too ambitious a project, and so it never got past the demo stage. This would have been the what you're seeing here is a model that later became Edurgura, and that's the skeleton that you walk through as you come in from the upper part. Except that in Dirt Descent, that skeleton is a wark, the wark skeleton that you find in the Cleft now. When we cover the Great Shaft, I'll actually be walking us through that demo, so you'll be able to see that better later. Okay, anyway,
Artate's not logged in yet.
It's happening. I've got the spinning wheel of death.
Which
That
one's
reminds-
worse, the spinning wheel of death or the net 6?
Back
Well,
when
the net 6 game's over, but spinning wheel of death, there's always the hope that it could resolve.
But then you
Actu-
cling to that hope and you delay the process.
Well, yeah,
At
you get
least
your
the
heart
next-
dashed against the rocks after, you crash
Yes.
anyways, but
Exactly.
way back when, there were people who did cartoons about Uru, and one of the ones that I remember constantly is you have a player logging into the game, and it gets to that message 0 seconds left, where you sit there waiting and waiting and waiting,
Mm-hmm.
and a corner of the screen is lifted up, showing a Barrow back there snickering at you.
So that's who's responsible.
I'll be there shortly.
Okay. Anyway, Susan, I guess this is time for the introduction.
Yes, well, welcome everyone to our second cavern tour of the season. If you can hear me, then you're obviously logged into Twitch TV/LWF58. Please also buddy me and Larry and Arte when he gets here. That way you can always contact us anytime during the tour. Oh, and also Zeke, of course, Zeke's 365. Today we're going to be continuing our tour of the Cleft. Our first tour, we all stood around the no trespassing sign, and Larry told us all about the history of the Dunny. It was very interesting. Today we're the Dunny. Okay.
I didn't mention anything about the Dunny.
Well, the Isha and the history of Atris and everything. So don't embarrass me. This is on YouTube. And this is what it's like working with a group of men. So sorry about that.
You better believe it.
So today, unless Larry corrects me, which he probably will, he's going to be discussing the environment and other physical features of the Cleft. We're not going to be doing anything regarding the Barrow Caves because that will be another tour. With that said, let's go ahead and everyone please make sure you've buddied Merrillbot, which is key number 32319. And let's go ahead and link to Merrillbot. So PM link to him.
Okay.
We got 3 people here in the hood.
Okay.
2 people.
As was mentioned, today we're picking up with the environment, things around the Cleft. First off, one of the things I wanted to point out, since she mentioned it, was the sign that's next to the gate onto the property. That, let's see. I'm going to put up some images on the stream. And work my way to that one. Okay. So I have a still picture up on the stream which shows what that sign looks like. And I'm going to switch next to a cleaned up version of it. So as you can see, that sign was actually originally put up by Elias Zandy, the person who owned the property before Jeff did. And you'll notice that it lists DRF, for Denis Restoration Foundation, rather than DRC, because of course the DRC was not formed until after Elias died. But this is the sign that lets you know precisely which county in the United States you're in. Okay. Now, one of the things that the first place that we're going to go now that we're here is we're going to trot over and take a look at Zandy's trailer. So if you'll all follow me. A number of years back, because of that, I'm a stickler for details. I went on a search to find out what kind of trailer this is. I was never able to successfully identify it. However, there was somebody else who did. One of the problems that I had with identifying the trailer was that there are actually 3 companies that made trailers that look like this. That's because originally there was a company called Airstream that was formed by 3 partners. But as time went by, they started disagreeing on how they wanted the trailers to be set up on the inside. So they all decided to split up, but since each one was on the original patent, the split was actually friendly, and they just decided they changed that the 2 partners splitting off would change the name of their product. So this trailer here is not an Airstream, it's a Streamline, which is the company one of the other 2 founders had decided to call his trailers. This particular one was identified by another fan whose name I don't remember off the top of my head. I do have it in my website. But this is a 1971 Streamline Count, and it's 30 feet long. The trailer carries a permanent New Mexico registration plate in a style that was used in the 1990s, which places the trailer's registration in the same general time frame when Elias Zandy was purchasing property around the volcano. And let me go back to my pictures. Oh, I am looking at the wrong set of pictures. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, this worked earlier. Why is it not working now? Oh, there we go. I don't know what I just did, but it works. Okay, so in the stream, I now have a picture up which shows a close-up of the license plate off of the Streamline. You'll note, by the way, there is no county called Zandillo in real life. That is a pun on Jeff Zandy's name. However, the style of this license plate is very definitely real. Now, there is a small table that we're next to Jeff's beach chair here. And you'll notice that there are a number of objects on it. Okay. For one, the objects outside the trailer are a lawn chair, a small table, and a hibachi. There is a bag of tortilla chips on the table labeled Donito's Cleft Ranch. And then there are a number of plastic bottles, although the label actually says that it's a beer can. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to put up an image of the Donito's bag. Here we go. On the stream. The labels on the bottles, because they're extremely small, are very, very hard to read. What can be made out on them, and I just put that image up on the stream, looks like it could be Spokane light something or other light beer. And then, of course, the label itself was labeled as being beer in the game files. Okay. Now, this I'm going to run through a couple of images here, and this is a streamlined count that was offered up for sale at one point, so that you can see that Cyan copied it almost exactly. Okay. The property. Now, there are two fences within our near us. There's an outer fence and there's an inner fence. And it's certain that the land inside of the fences, a lot where the trailer is owned by Jeff Zandy. His father left it to him in his will. Whether or not the volcano is actually part of Jeff's property is an open question.
I'm not close enough to see, but does the hibachi have the steak on it, or is that some other time?
No, that steak is on there. Has been on there indefinitely. As a matter of fact, what if you come back and talk to Jeff enough times when you first arrive in the Cleft, he starts saying things that are not just clues for how to solve the puzzle. He also mentions at one point, do you think that steak looks done yet?
Well, when do the buzzing flies appear? Is it after Jeff Zandy's gone?
I believe so.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense that he would tolerate flies.
Of course.
He also says, do you know how hard it is to read a book when you're being constantly interrupted?
By explorers.
By
Yeah.
explorers?
Yeah. Yeah, he has 5 or 6 different alternate things, little comments that he said that get dropped in there occasionally.
Interesting.
Say, and if I'd have thought about it, that's one thing I forgot. I was mentioning that to Susan before I went live on the stream, that there's always something that I forget. And one of the things I should have done was made a recording of the various things that Jeff says. Oh well, maybe next year.
I have them written down somewhere if that would help.
Yeah, if you can look them up, that would be. I'm sure people would like to hear what they say, because you have to come back and talk to him, Lord knows how many times, in order to get some of those comments up.
I did it in Genshard, and I believe it was about 7 times to get him to change to give you an actual clue. He gives you the first clue when you come back, and then you keep coming back, and then he gives you the nonsense, and it takes about 7 trips before you finally get through all the possible permutations of comments, and he gives you the next clue.
Okay. Anyway, so the next place that we're going to do is we're going to run around past the cleft and over to the skeleton. It shouldn't. Zork player just mentioned. Did you tell everyone there was a real Jeff? Yes, that was mentioned last month when we did the first part of the Cleft, and we talked about the character of Jeff Sandy. The real Jeff Sandy, of course, passed away about a year ago.
Oh, Larry?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear? I went to your website to see who the explorer was.
Okay.
It says Harvey Midnight was the one that found.
That was his avatar name?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, anyway. It should come as no surprise to anyone that this area of the desert was the outlet of the Starfisher of Riven. When Atris threw himself in and the linking book to Myst into the Starfisher, it would have landed somewhere in this vicinity. Eventually, of course, it was discovered by the stranger in 1806. When Riven was destroyed, the telescopic device that Gen had been using to study the Starfisher, the giant dagger that Catherine had created, and this one of the warks from Riven all landed in this vicinity. Say, the telescope and the Wark skeleton, of course, are out here, but the dagger landed inside the volcano. The name of the animal, Wark, was coined by Ginn, who cobbled it together from the English words whale and shark. Ginn spelled the name W-H-A-R-K in some of his notes, and W-A-H-R-K in others. The official DRC spelling of the name is W-A-H-R-K. This was confirmed by Richard A. Watson in one of his personal publications. The difference in the spelling, by the way, is because of pronunciation. When the W-H-A-R-K would be the English cobbling together of whale and shark, but W-A-H-R-K is how you would pronounce the spell and pronounce the word in what's called Old Transliteration Standard for Denis. I'm standing next to a ball-like bony structure on the end of the upper jaw. That is the actual skull of the animal. While it looks small in comparison to the rest of the skeleton, if you compare it to my torso, it's about the same size as from my legs up to my neck. So that means that this animal would have had a fairly large brain. Let's see. I'm going to... Okay. I just threw a picture up on the stream, which shows what this animal would have looked like before it found out that sea animals don't do well when they land in the middle of a desert.
Well, looking at the work, just running around it, it looks like it was dug up, like an archaeology dug it up from the ground a little bit.
No, actually, it's not dug up. It was buried by windblown sand.
Mm.
So it's the other way around. It's in the process of being buried, not being dug up.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Murphak, if you can take us down into the cleft now, to the kitchen.
Okay.
Larry, were you gonna post something related to the telescope in Twitch?
No, the cat running through that all of that stuff would be a little too much of a hassle in that regard.
Okay.
Now, if you look at the Twitch stream, I've put up a picture that shows a map that was made of I believe this was done by Patrick the photographer, who was one of the members of the Guild of Cartographers, which was an unofficial guild established by fans during the early days of the game. They would go around various ages that in the game, and they would pace things out in order to figure out how big they were, and establish spatial relationships. Say, this had to be done in most of the ages because there's no coordinate system here like there is in the cavern.
And is this area formerly called the Cleft?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to pause for a second because Arte has the Zandy quotes now, so we're going to listen to some of the things that he says.
Okay, so when I went to with my test avatar, just listen to the quotes. I got the help just to get to the imager, and then I went around looking for the remainder of the cloths. So first clue he gives you is you're going to need power for the imager in the cleft. Try releasing the brake on the windmill first, and then he repeats that. And after 7 iterations, he finally comes back. Sometimes the windmill seizes up. Try starting it by hand. You got to push pretty hard on the windmill handle to get it going, all right? And then you get it going, and he says, you're still missing the message he's left in the imager. Be sure you see that before you enter the tree. And then he tells you there's symbols next to the door, blah, 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 multiple times.
Yeah, I'm very sorry to interrupt. Are we revealing spoilers or? It's up to you guys, you and Larry.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't go into that, but
I was mostly interested in the odd things that he says rather than the clues.
Let's see here. Something just beeped in my background. Do you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. One of the things he says, keep exploring, you'll find what... Oh, it's my computer, but... Oh, great, I forgot to plug in my laptop. Okay, I'm good. Oh! Okay, so one of the says is keep exploring, you'll find what you're looking for. You know how hard it is to finish a book with a constant stream of people interrupting? Yeah, it's hot, but it's a dry heat. This is great. Hero the pizza boy. And that's mostly what he says, those 3 things. He says Hero the pizza boy a lot. Oh, and you think that steak's done yet?
Okay. Yeah, as I said, in a future tour, I think I'll try and remember to get all the quotes and string them together as an audio. So we hopefully we'll have them next time. Okay. In any case, getting back, I have a map of the Cleft up by Patrick the photographer, and it shows what all the various rooms were used for. We are currently in the kitchen, and remember that the Cleft originally was just a waypoint. Anna and her father and mother originally lived in a cliffside dwelling called the Lodge. It was a small set of rooms consisting of 1 or 2 bedrooms, a laboratory workshop, a living room, and a living room. I'm not sure. Do you remember if there were any other rooms in it, Arte?
In the lodge?
Yeah. There was the
Uh,
workshop, there was the living room, there were the bed, one or two bedrooms. Anything else?
um, not that I can recall.
Okay.
There's something niggling there that there was sort of like a sitting room where they, then maybe not. I think I'm conflating some things. Never mind.
You're probably thinking of the living room. Yeah. Because in any case, you got to the lodge by climbing up a pathway on the opposite canyon wall, and then they had a bridge going across, I believe it was a rope bridge, going across from one side of the canyon to the other. It was a slot canyon and fairly narrow. The idea being that in an emergency they could collapse the bridge in case they were being attacked by somebody, and therefore make it impossible to get to them easily. But when they wanted to travel to a city, they would stop here at the Cleft as a waypoint along the way, and therefore this place was more of a camp than it was a place to live, and it remained that way up until the death of Anna's father. She got having lost both her father and mother in the desert. The father died in the lodge up from a disease. She decided that she didn't want to live there anymore and contemplated going back to her original homeland where her family had moved from. However, that was when she decided that if she was going to explore the tunnels that they had discovered, which she did not know at that time led to Denis, that was going to be the time. And that completely blew her plans to move away from from New Mexico, completely out of the water. And so when she came back up with Gin to live after the fall of Denis, instead of going back to the lodge, which had some painful memories or associations, she decided to live full time in the Cleft with him. And of course, continued with living here with Atris after he was born. And that's why we have the current configuration. And then, of course, later on, Yisha lived here for a short time before going down into the caverns. Okay, let's go ahead and kill this. Oops. Okay. For much of its history, there was no electrical power here in the Cleft. It was probably not until Atris the Younger built Tomana that the windmill and generator that it turns was installed to provide current for the machines. As a boy, Atris wanted to wire the Cleft for electric light. His first solution was to use batteries to provide direct current. There are 2 drawings on the wall above the desk in the Cleft's workshop library. And let's go ahead and walk into that room so you can see them. Let's see, where am I pointing? Okay, this way. Okay, so when you come in up into the workshop area, you'll see the two drawings up on the wall. His plan was to install a steam-powered generator in the volcano, atop one of the steam vents that are found there. He had intended to recharge batteries using the steam power. So you have one there. One of the illustrations shows a generator atop a vent with a battery attached. And I'll go ahead and put up a picture of that. If I can find it real quick. Okay, here we go. So I have a picture of it showing on the stream now, so you can see it close up. The problem with the steam generator idea is that Atris was fairly young at the time and miscalculated the pressure, and he didn't allow enough steam to escape through the system. The overpressure caused the vent to explode violently, blasting a hole in the ground that led to a small cave. Unknown to him at the time, that cave opened up a new pathway to the Denis tunnels leading to the Great Shaft. His father, Gen, would later use that path to take him down to Denis. The other drawing that is on the wall, go. Is another basically another iteration of his idea, him planning out his ideas, and it shows him plotting to use the steam vent. If you look at the table, there is a clockwork mechanism device on it. Unfortunately, I do not know the purpose of that device because I can't. There doesn't seem to be anything, any sort of writing about it. Say, and that is this device over here. If you look at the device, however, you will notice that there is a vertical bar at the back end of it. And that bar has Denis writing on it. The writing is a single word repeated 3 times. And it's the Denis word retaglio, which means the surface. So whatever this thing is, it was evidently a Denis-made device.
Larry?
Okay. Yes.
Where did Atris learn how to build these devices? Did he belong to a guild? Did he learn it from his father?
No, none of the above. He learned everything that he knew from his grandmother, Anna. She had brought up, a number of books from Denis when she escaped with Gen, and that included medical texts of 1 or 2 scientific or engineering texts, and other things that she thought would be useful that were still within her ability to carry. And then once she was on the surface and living here, she set up trade relations with local Indian tribes and the local town, and also with presumably people traveling back and forth for trade across the desert. And she bought other books from the surface through those contacts. Shiloh says, "The world is burning down around my ears. Quick, save the library." Which is a sentiment that any heavy reader would greatly sympathize with.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm going to pause for a second. Were there any questions that were asked up to this point?
I didn't see any. Zeke, did you see any questions?
I haven't seen any, but I'll ask.
I don't see any questions in game.
Okay. And did you have any comments to throw in at this point, Arte?
Nope. You got it all.
In that case, one of the things I mentioned, of course, the lodge. The lodge and the cleft were part of a fairly large area that Anna's family lived in at one point or another. The lodge, of course, was her original home here in the desert. The cleft was her later home. And then also, when Atris, when he married Catherine, they originally lived on Myst Island. Then, after the boys betrayed them, they moved to another age called Chroma Agana, which was more or less described as a larger version of Myst, but otherwise similar in layout. And then, after they left Chroma Agana, about the time that they gave up on trying to restore the Denis city, or actually it would have been during that time, the time that they were trying, that they moved to Chroma Agana. And then after that, Atris built a new home for himself and Catherine called Tomana here in the desert, and that was where Yisha was born. And if you go back, take a look at the stream window, I've got a few pictures of it. This, of course, comes from Myst 3.
Okay.
And then there are a large numbers of rivers and tributaries in New Mexico. I believe within actually, let me go back to my notes and actually talk in a coherent manner here. The Cleft is part of a larger area where Anna's family and descendants lived at various times. Within an estimate of about 5 miles of the Cleft, there is a mountain range. Canyons in those mountains are the sites of 2 other residences, etc., etc. Tomana, which simply means home in the Denis language, was the birthplace of Yisha and built by Atris after he decided, etc., etc. Atris, by the way, lived in Tomana until Catherine's death. At that point, he was old and tired and decided to move to Verlishan and spend out the remainder of his life there. Tomana is unusual in that it was not a traditional house. Instead, it was a series of 1 or 2-story rooms tied together by walkways, bridges, and a combination elevator and tram car, all of which were constructed along the walls of a river canyon. There are something like 15 rivers in Eddy County, and Tomana may have been located on a tributary of one of them. Some of the most likely candidates are the Black River, the Pecos River, and the Rio Penasco. An aerial cable car was used to travel up the river to reach Tomana and stopped at Atris Combination Laboratory, Workshop, and Observatory. It's unknown where the cable car stopped at the other end or how close it was to the cleft. It also is not known what condition the site is in today. The property is most likely part of the estate of Elias Zandy, and the DRC never mentioned what became of the buildings after Atris abandoned them. And let's see, another picture shows the Tomana at night. Here's a shot of the cable car approaching the laboratory, which is its terminus at the Tomana Inn. And then here's a shot of Tomana during the day.
And these are from Myst 4, not
Yeah.
Myst 3.
Oh, excuse me, Myst 4. Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah.
Myst 4
Myst
is
4
Exile.
Revelation.
Right.
So, my question would be, is Tomana one of the homes and then they moved to the Cleft? Or
Other way
is
around.
Tomana
Atris-
in the Cleft somewhere? Where would
Atris-
it be?
No,
Okay.
the cleft is at least 5 miles away. Estimated from about the rough time that it would have taken Atris to get to the cleft from Tomana.
Okay.
And then but no, Atris grew up in the cleft, and then moved after trapping again in Riven. He moved to Myst, then Chroma Agana, and then here. And this is where he lived until Catherine died, and he moved to Relishon.
Well,
Okay. And if you will, Murphak, please take us back up to the surface. The desert around the cleft is home to many varieties of life, even though it looks fairly bleak. If you walk around the enclosure, it's easy to hear the buzzing of flies and chirping from a variety of insects, such as grasshoppers, katydids, crickets, flies, and cicadas. Chickadees can also be heard in the area. In the area around the remains of Ginn's telescope, you can sometimes hear the call of the same type of birds that you can bring to your Relto, which are listed in the documentation as vultures, although they don't mention a species. Also, in the air above the volcano, over around towards the backside from the cleft, you will see a pair of zone-tailed hawks circling in the sky. They possibly could be a mated pair, but I can't say that with any assurance. If you go inside the volcano caldera, you can see the hawks from inside there as well. And let me go ahead and bring up wildlife. And then I've just switched the stream image over to one of the zone-tailed hawks. And here's a view from inside of that hawk from inside the volcano. The next beastie that I have up here is one of a type of firefly, which can be found in the volcano and also in an age called Durebo. So, another animal that can be found in both Durebo and inside the volcano is an alien type of butterfly. Say these butterflies are thought to come from the age of Lakian, which is the other place that you can see them. These things are not ones that come from our Earth. If you look at them, you'll notice that they don't have any antenna like our earthly butterflies do. And also, Earth butterflies have a distinct head, thorax, and abdomen, whereas with these, the abdomen and the thorax are fused into one part. If you go to Kadesh Telesa, okay, excuse me, I keep having things popping up in front of my notes. Stupid computer. Okay, anyway, if you go to the age of Kadesh Telesa, there is a red variety of these butterflies, which may also have originated in Lakian, since they are exactly the same species, but with different coloration, being red instead of blue. The red color and the fact they were found in Kadesh's vault caused early fans to give them the unofficial name Crimson Kadesh butterflies. Okay, and how are we doing on time? Only halfway in?
We've got an hour and 5 minutes.
Okay. In that case, we're going to pause here. Did you, Arte, did you do anything, research into the Easter egg from Ages Beyond Myst, the two Denis
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that information was on another computer that is currently dead under a doornail. So.
Okay. No problem. I did. Look that up. So when the original version of Uru Ages Beyond Myst, which later became Uru Complete Chronicles, had two expansion packs. One of them was Path of the Shell, and another was called Tu Denis. Tu Denis was the one where you unlocked most of the locations inside of the Denis Cavern that you could get to. And that expansion had a very elaborate Easter egg mission. In it, you had to figure out how to open up the meditation chambers, which is commonly called the egg room, inside of Bevan. Whereupon, when you got it open using a light code, you would find notes inside of the individual meditation chambers instead of linking books, which you found in the original Ages Beyond Myst and 2 Denis expansion. Each of the alcoves had an encrypted sheet of paper. They were alphabetic shift codes. In other words, they had a number on them as a clue, and that number was how many letters you had to shift along the alphabet in order to get to read the message. What the pages said was, 1. Wear the reward of Yisha. Keep it on till you're done. So you would have you supposedly would have gotten Yisha's reward shirt, and at that point you had to put it on and keep it on for the entire Easter egg mission. 2. Go to the Garrison power route. The power must be on. Stand on the place that raises the stone. So you would link to the first Garrison linking point, go to the second level and walk to the power room. Presuming that the power was on, you had to stand on the pressure plate that raises the weight of the auxiliary generator, and then, while standing on it, link back to Relto. After that, 3. Enter the Teledan prison. Clear off Gen's favorite plate completely. Stand on it. So you would link to Teledan and make your way to the prison cave through the pipe using the hatch in the floor of the hut. Gen's favorite plate would obviously have been the 5th. So and that was the middle one, which was closest to the pipe. So you had to clear anything off that might have been on top of it, stand on it, and link back to Relta. 4. Find the pillar room in Kadesh Tolesa. Stand near the previous elevator. Turn off the glowing floor above. So you linked to Kadesh Tolesa's treasure vault, followed the route back to the pillar chamber, and kept going until you got to the elevator from the pyramid that was going up and down constantly. You pressed the blue button at the bottom of the elevator to stop it, and linked back to Relto. 5. Return to the last goal of Edergura. Once the light has been lit, turn off the light. So you would link to Edergura, climb all the way up to the final cave where the pith helmet was and the linking cloth were, turn on the steam lamp in that cave, and then turn it back off and link back to Relto. 6. Link to Ederkimo. Get your light source. Enter the door of the journey. So you go to Ederkimo, collect fireflies from around the troom trees, and make your way to the journey door. Walk into it until the fireflies leave you and you link out. 7. Go to the desert in the rain. Look at the left symbol of the original code. Set all 4 of the imagers to it. So you would link to the rainy cleft, look at the combination on the wall next to the door, and put the leftmost symbol in every slot on the imager machine. You did not want to press the button. And then finally, 8. Once you've completed all of the steps, look into the Riven Remnant. Egg maze is set once you leave the desert. Egg maze, that would set the egg maze, and once you left the desert, it was reset. So, in other words, once you completed all the steps up through 7, you were ready to see your rewards for having completed the Easter egg mission. And let's see, I want this one. Okay. If you look at the stream window, I just put up a picture. This what you would do after you had set the everything by putting in that code on the viewer in the Cleft, you climb up, you go over to Gen's telescope, and you look in the viewfinder, which was only enabled once you completed all the steps. And when you looked into it, you would hear Zandy's voice say, "Another one?" And you'd see the picture that you see up on the screen right now, which is the Cyan staff when they made they were making Uru. But that wasn't the final thing. Once you had done that, you enabled yourself a way to get out of this area inside the fence. By climbing up on the remnants of the telescope, there was a section of the where you could jump, you could do a run jump and get over the fence to the outside desert. Then you would go off to your left around the corner of the fence and then straight out into the desert past the volcano, where you would find the last part of the Easter egg. And Murphak, please, can you take us to the Zandoni now? And we're about to go see what you would have seen once you had completed the Easter egg quest and gotten out into the desert. So we'll give Murphak a little time here to get us set up.
Nice wish.
Does it, any questions or comments while we're waiting for Murphak to get us over there?
I don't see any, but I would challenge our tourists to challenge Larry. Ask him anything.
So I have.
Oh, by the way, Atissa, nice shirt.
Let's see here. When I asked, Evok, says, "I'm wondering if Yisha was one who left such a mess in the Cleft." I thought there was a question here.
She was
Yisha was
joking that Yisha's messy.
Yeah, well, she probably is, but Yisha was the last resident there. Although, just when Atris decided to move to Relishon, he left a note on her bed in the Cleft, where she had been sleeping up to that point. I don't think... I take that back. Yisha did go back to the Cleft at least once, and she read that note because she scribbled on it with some of her own musings. Okay. And this is the end of the quest when you follow the Easter egg path. In the game, if you follow all the steps and get here, once you got close to this machine, you would take the place of Zandy, or I should say, you would become Zandy on top of this thing, and would be able to drive it around. One source that I was looking at for notes about this says that if you were careful, it was possible to drive through the fence into the inside of the Zandy's part of the desert, hook up his trailer and drag it around. However, I've never heard anyone else say that they did that, so I don't know whether or not it's actually possible.
You got an online crowd. Someone's gonna figure it out.
Hmm. And then of course, once you drove this, I believe it was with the A ASDW keys, and there was one key who I don't remember at the moment that allowed you to speed up and slow down. You could drive around as much as you wanted to, as until either you crashed or if you went too close to the edge, you fell off the model at the edge of the desert. At that point, the puzzle was reset, and you had to do the whole thing over again from scratch to get back to the Zandoni. About the Zandoni itself, when Yisha sent out a call to explorers to come and walk the path of the hand, Jeff Zandy became an ardent supporter of her cause, as her ideas agreed with the many points he'd been in contention with his father Elias over. After Elias died and left the property in the immediate vicinity of the Cleft to him, he began to give clues to potential explorers that would introduce Isha's teachings to them. This was called Pre-After. Jeff started living near the Cleft part-time to guide people into starting the Path of the Hand. When Jeff is on the property, he lives in the camping trailer, but for something to do, he modified another trailer into an off-road vehicle to play with. The modified trailer was compared to a Zamboni by fans because he put the driver's seat on the roof of the vehicle, and that prompted somebody who's unknown at this point to nickname the rig the Zandoni. The Zandoni is, of course, the only off-road vehicle I know about that has a snack bar. He has a table up on top of it that has his tortilla chips, the Donitos, and some beer. He also has his radio atop a cooler up on top of the rig, so that he can listen to his tunes while he's driving around. Okay, now at this point, I'm pretty. For those who are having problems with noise from it, remember that you have your individual sound controls. So, as Yvonne says, you have to mute the game in order to get rid of the noise. Okay, and let's see. It is 1:09, so we actually may have time here.
Yeah, we have 50 minutes.
Right. I'm going to have to kill my copy of Uru at this point, so I won't be seeing you all here in the cavern in the game because I have to start up a different copy of Uru in order to take us into the volcano. So that's going to take me a moment.
Real quick question for you, Larry.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
The lime green post-it on oversized post-it on the Zandoni. Is there writing on that?
No, what that is an artifact of the model. Normally, when the model has been activated properly, that's invisible. But that's a three. I'm not sure if what you call it, but when you make a 3D model, that's kind of a reference point.
It's actually
Okay.
a cube, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
it's a cube. It's a normally 000 normally, but I guess it's a reference of where the object is.
But it's an artifact left over from the models because we didn't activate it the proper way.
And Larry, before you sign out, were you going to ask Murphac? Oh, there he goes. Were you going to ask Murphac to give us a ride on a certain creature?
Actually, that's something that you can do while we're at while I'm changing games. Murphac, what she's asking is, can you give him some hawk rides while I'm messing around here?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah, and these don't have any seat belts or bars over your laps, so
Yeah,
hang on tight.
yeah. The tour just reminds me of the old theme parks for some odd reason. You go into the line, then you go into that section where it introduces everything, then you get in line.
Yeah, exactly. Like the holding area.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sandyland.
You've got mail.
Yep.
That's so old.
Oh, wrong thing.
Arte is dating himself.
I was
Now we're
mentioning.
just friends.
My comeback to that one is that I have to date myself because there aren't any women willing to take on the job.
Oh gosh. Murphac, were you able to take us on a hawk ride, or is it borked?
It could be a lot of coding and stuff he's got to set up before that.
Well, he did it last month, I know.
What? We're writing. Okay. Can do that.
Before the tour began, we were talking about the privy here in Relto, and it just occurred to me that since I'm passing through,
Oh no, you're not really gonna do what I think you're gonna do.
well, I'm not gonna do if that's what you mean.
Oh no. Oh no.
But I just brought it up, so.
Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the most important part of the Cavern Tour. So where are you? You're in a shard?
No, this is UroCC, and I imported the shard Relto pages into it. So let's see.
Oh my gosh.
There's your luxurious bathroom.
Oh my gosh. A log with a
And
hole in it.
I was not kidding about it being open at the bottom.
Well, at least there's toilet paper in there.
Yep.
I felt bad for the bottom of the age, if there is a bottom.
Yep, that's what I was saying, is that if there's anyone living down there, they're in for a rude surprise.
What did you just kick inside the basin? I saw
that was a
moving in
toilet.
there.
That was a piece of or a roll of toilet paper that was sitting on the edge of the log that I accidentally bumped into it.
Unfortunately, there is no sink in there, so take with that what you will.
Well,
Manly men don't need to wash their hands.
Side of the island.
But yes, there you go. You can use it, so to speak.
Oh, fold his arms.
Yeah, just a few minutes here on the old thunder bucket.
Oh, can't you at least shut the door first?
What? There's only me.
Great.
It's not like I have visitors up here.
Yeah, you just have all of YouTube watching. Oh my gosh. Well, Larry is the utmost in humility, I guess.
Hey, I kept my pants up.
Or humiliation.
Say,
oh, that's funny.
Something else that you can do in shards is add just a hair more furnishings.
And here you go, folks. Something that you wouldn't get anywhere outside a tour.
Yep.
So keep coming.
Anyway, I was on my way to the Cleft.
I guess we can't fly, or are you still working on that, Fact. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Whee! Oh, okay. We got warped to the Zandoni.
Maybe just trying to get everybody together.
Well, what's the thing with the word dunny? Doesn't it mean toilet in Australian or something?
Something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which is why originally they were going to call it Dunny, Dunni, and when they but it was changed to D''Ni when they found out that particular correlation. Something about people in Australia and New Zealand not being able to keep a straight face whenever they heard Atris.
Well, there's a couple of Aussies that come to original story night, and they always feel obliged to make comments about Dunny.
Is that why David Ogden Steers pronounced Duchny?
No, actually, that's its own story, but he knew how to pronounce it properly, but asked for permission to say it that way because he thought it made an interesting speech tick for Escher.
Oh, interesting.
Duckly.
Duckney. There are two theories as to why Escher says it that way. One is that he speaks a dialect of Denis,
We're
where that is
flying.
the proper pronunciation. But the other theory, and the one that Richard Watson goes with, is that Escher has a speech impediment.
We're riding hawks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm in third person, so everyone's so still sideways.
Well, in first person, I see a bunch of glasses and blinking eyes.
Yeah, I'm
So
in third
I'll
person.
switch back to third.
Okay. And as soon as your ride's over, we're ready to resume the tour.
Okay. Oh, matter of fact, thank you so much. This is hilarious.
I hope none of you get too dizzy. I hope you brought your throw-up bags.
Oh gosh. More body functions. Welcome back as co-host, Zeke. Oh, and there's Larry's coffee mug.
Yep.
And by the way, you're on the other side of the screen again. You just trying to switch things up? You're usually on the left side.
Well, that was last season.
That was so last season.
Sounds like a fashion blog. That was last season. This is the new season.
This is the new season, yeah. Where we talk about body functions and
I mean, it is a ride, so you gotta think about it from that park.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
imagine
everyone with me again?
we're still flying.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in the flying state.
Sorry, Larry, are you gonna see? We have 37 minutes.
Hopefully, I can get through this since we're just going to talk about the interior of the volcano now, and then that'll be it.
Let me also mention let people look at the stream, since that's where you're gonna be at.
Yes.
Yeah, we can fly and look at the stream at the same time.
It depends on how you have your monitor set up.
Yeah, I have my game minimized.
What's interesting about Uru is I always got when I would do first person in the Complete Chronicles, it gave me a headache, like it was so dizzy, like sickness, which is weird. But in third person, it doesn't do the same thing.
Like motion sickness?
Yeah, motion sickness. It's the only Myst game that did that to me.
Well, actually, to this day, I always get whenever I jump off of anything, especially something high in Uru, I always get my stomach clenches up.
Really?
Yeah. So I always have this sensation, something of a sensation of falling.
Wow. I have a terrible fear of heights in real life, but
Yes,
jumping
so do
off
I.
things virtually doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I've always wondered why Uru does that to me, but no other game can.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start talking, ready or not, because we're running out of time.
All right.
So, first off, this is as we look inside the interior of the volcano where I am now, and you'll want to watch the stream from here on out. What we're looking at is, first off, as I mentioned earlier, that Catherine at one point wrote a giant dagger into the Age of Riven after the fact, which was an act that would have horrified Denis writers because she was playing with fire when she did that. But for her, it worked because she was so completely off the wall in the way she wrote things that Atris couldn't believe that she was ever successful, even though he had the evidence in the form of her books to look at. For him, her writing was impossible. But, okay, I mentioned that you can see the zone-tailed hawks from inside here, and you'll see in the screen right now, there's one of them flying overhead. Was that Susan I saw sitting on top of it?
What? On the hawk?
Yeah.
Did I? Yes, I waved at you.
Okay. I also mentioned that if you look around inside here, you will find there's the butterfly going by, and there's another one. And I don't know how well you can see this, but let's see, where are they? Somewhere around here, there's a bunch of fireflies that don't have. Oh, here we go. I'm in the middle of a cloud of them right now. And I mentioned that Atris built his generator on top of a steam vent, and there are several of them around, scattered around here. In fact, here's one right now. So that was what caused the big boom when he miscalculated the pressure tolerances on his generator. No, there's another one. And thus, we wound up with this hole right over here, which leads down toward the great shaft. When Yisha and met the Botero, and they devised their plan, and the Botero started looking to her for salvation, she became a very important person to them. And you'll see here that in rocks here in the volcano, they carved images of her life story on various rocks.
So this dirt that we're standing on now, that you're standing on,
Mm-hmm.
that is obviously higher than the dirt that's surrounding the cleft.
Yes, because it's a volcano.
Okay, so the volcano somehow filled up with dirt?
No, a volcano erupts, and what you're looking at is the solidified remains of its last eruption. In other words, this would be volcanic ash and rock mixed together.
Oh, okay. So it's not dirt. Okay. And then somehow a little pool formed as well.
Rain does that, and it does rain occasionally.
Well, yeah. Yes, of course.
Okay. But anyway, the Botero petroglyphs in here, as I mentioned, tell Yisha's story. And let's see. Oh, that's right. I have to get out of this. So let's see. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to show you various pictures from inside here of of petroglyphs. Let's see, I'm looking for this one here. Okay. The first picture that I'm showing you, around the year 1773, Atris and Catherine trap Gen and Riven and escape by jumping into the and while Catherine used the linking book to go to Myst, Atris escaped by jumping into the Star Fissure and then touching the linking panel of the book, which caused the book to continue falling, since the book cannot go with him, or could not go with him after he touched it. The glyph that I'm showing you shows Atris and Catherine, the Star Fissure, and the chamber that Gen built around the linking point in order to catch anyone coming in with to see if they had a linking book.
Can I stop you right there, Larry? Because
Mhm.
that photo you're showing connects to a question that's being asked in game.
Okay.
There, you see that structure there, that metallic structure that you link into the ribbon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when the fissure opened, I'm pretty sure it fell through the fissure. But people are asking why it didn't end up in the cleft, that little metallic building.
Not everything that fell into the cleft wound up in the desert, or the Star Fissure wound up in the desert. It was just those three things: a wark, the dagger, and the telescope that was over the Star Fissure.
Well, you had a little too much English on it when it fell into this fissure and missed the spot.
Yeah, that maybe it landed somewhere far out in the desert, and we just never found it. But
So,
who knows?
in the beginning of the game, you mentioned about the linked books to check for that linking point.
Mhm.
In the beginning of the game of Riven, you take that book out. That guy takes the book out from you.
Yeah.
Was that one of Gen's army or
Yes.
Rivenese?
That guy is nicknamed Cho, and he was one of Gen's enforcers, even though he was somewhat incompetent.
Okay.
And he was but yes, Gen had organized Rivenese guilds to mimic those of Denis, and he would have been the equivalent of a I guess you could say that Cho was a Rivenese maintainer.
Yeah, so would he even if Gen didn't do that, would he have been a caution when people went to Riven to take that Lincoln book out?
No, he was responding to the fact that the trap had gone off.
Ah, okay.
As a matter of fact, he was probably sitting somewhere or stationed somewhere nearby, and when he heard the noise, he came to investigate. However, because you remember when he first walks in, he doesn't realize that there's somebody inside the trap chamber. He's quite surprised when he sees the player in there, and
Okay.
that's the fact that he's somewhat incompetent was demonstrated at that point, because Gen had been teaching his followers in Riven, as well as all the Rivenese children, how to read, write, speak, and count in Denis. And Cho completely hashed trying to speak to the character, or to the player in Denis. He spends more time actually speaking in Rivenese at that point, and the few Denis sentences he manages to choke out are completely mispronounced. Okay.
Well, poor Cho met his demise on a ledge.
No, actually, he lived through that.
Oh.
Yeah.
The poison that he was hit with by the dart from the rebel just knocked him out, and he was dragged off and tumbled down to that shelf below the cliff. But he was very much alive at that point, and does reappear in this game later on.
Oh.
Oh. That I did not know. Okay.
Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, in one of the potential endings, when you're trying to trap Gen inside of a prison age, and instead of going in himself, he tells Cho to go in.
Oh, that was Cho.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. The cat. Apparently, Cho is the go-to patsy whenever Gen wanted something unpleasant done.
Oh, poor Cho.
All right. Okay.
In any case, I need to get moving on here.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's go back.
Okay. Another one of the boulders has 2 glyphs on it. The bottom, the one on the bottom represents the early life of the family on Myst Island. The large figures are, from left to right, Atris, Catherine, and Tiana. The 2 smaller figures are Akinar and Cirrus, who were born on Myst Island. There is uninterpreted Baro writing above the mountain peak. To my knowledge, no serious attempts to decipher Baro letters and symbols have been made because there isn't a Rosetta Stone for the Baro language the way there was for the Denis. When Tiana had been taught some of the basics of writing ages by her Denis husband, Atris the Elder, she had no formal training. Atris was a member of the Guild of Surveyors, so it's unknown how he learned the art. Their son, Gen, had been enrolled in the Guild of Books as a child, but only received a year or 2 of basic education when Denis fell and never learned the art from either his father or mother. The early days on Myst were happy ones for Atris and his family, but that time came to an end all too soon. Atris and Catherine had both been taught the art by Tiana and Gen, which meant that their teachers were both people who had no formal training. This was a period of experimentation for the entire family, since they had to figure out how to write by trial and error. Because of that, they were able to accomplish feats of writing that the Denis wouldn't have believed because they didn't have any preconceived notions about what could be done. On the other hand, it meant they had no knowledge of the rules and methods of the Denis Guild of Writers, what the Guild of Writers were taught to keep their ages safe, and had no knowledge of the methods used by the Guild of Maintainers to test an age for danger. Okay, let's see if I can find the next picture. That's it, conveniently. The next glyph that I've brought up represents Atris's and Catherine's later life on Myst Island with their sons Cirrus and Akinar, after most of the construction was done and Tiana had passed away. This was the period when the family began falling apart. The fact that Atris and Catherine were basically untrained in the art was never so apparent as when it led to a tragedy that left deep scars on the family and which changed their fates for the worse. Catherine wrote an age whose name she never spoke again.
We're ready to go.
And Tiana visited it. While there, Tiana contracted a disease that caused her to fall into a slow decline in her health, and her eventual death in 1785. The loss of Tiana left Atris so grief-stricken that he threw himself into his work as a distraction and neglected his sons. Catherine was devastated that her work had cost Tiana her life and never wrote another age again. She also left the boys more or less to their own devices. Akinar and Cirrus were around 11 and 8 years old respectively when Tiana died, and they began going on unsupervised trips to the ages Atris had written. One day, Cirrus asked Akinar to go sailing with him in a small boat in the mechanical age. What Akinar didn't know was that Cirrus was deliberately taking them into waters controlled by a pirate clan called the Pirates of the Black Ships. They were captured, and Cirrus managed to sweet-talk the pirate chieftain into adopting them. They lived with the pirates for a time before Atris finally tracked them down, and living among the pirates gave Cirrus a craving for domination and wealth. Akinar, on the other hand, developed a taste for hunting and killing. Okay, next glyph is this one. This glyph represents the time when Atris attempted to rebuild Denis before he moved, when they moved. Okay, let me get myself in order here. First off, after the events of Myst, when the boys were captured in prison ages, Atris and Catherine could no longer live on Myst because of painful memories. So Atris wrote a new age called Chroma Agana, and they moved there. It was during that period that Atris decided to attempt to rebuild Denis. He enlisted help from natives of an age called Navarone. That's right, isn't it, Arte Navarone?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Avarone, excuse me. The age Avarone, yeah. Avarone was the it's right in front of me. He enlisted natives of the age of Avarone to assist him in finding Denis survivors of the fall. Together, they were able to find a large number of Denis who were living in private ages. Knowing that the plague had killed off so many, that the plague that it killed off so many was gone, the Denis returned to the caverns along with the Avaronese and collected the bodies of the victims for burial, and then started to rebuild the city. However, for various reasons, that proved unsuccessful, probably because the damage was too severe from the earthquakes that had occurred since the fall. So on October 14th of 1812, Atris decided to abandon the restoration of Denis and find a new home for the Denis to live in. While searching for bodies, they had broken into the tomb of the Great King and found the Book of Terani. Linking to the age, they found that the Rhone civilization was not only still there, it was alive and thriving. They made contact and began planning for the Denis to rejoin their ancestral brethren. The Terani were enthusiastic about being contacted by missing Rhone descendants and welcomed the newcomers heartily. However, the plan came to an end when Atris and the Denis representatives with him discovered the truth behind Terani's utopic lifestyle. It was based on a form of slavery that horrified Atris and the Denis. The people of Terani had come to regard anyone not of Rhone descent as being
head on out, so I will see you guys later.
Bye-bye. Okay. As being subhuman and not worthy, and worthy only to be the labor class in their society. For the Denis, whose culture abhorred slavery and taught that a citizen should work for his own prosperity, that was intolerable. This, by the way, is a fact that escapes or confused many modern explorers who take Yisha's words at face value. She implied that the Dini approved of slavery and openly abused the Baro. The reality was that knowledge of the Baro was uncommon among the Dini and not mentioned in any of the records that we have access to. We don't know what the Baro did in Dini or why they were bound to it in the first place. The only thing we know for certain is that they were not imprisoned in either Teledan or Garrison as Yisha claimed, because a DRC employee confirmed it. And I've spoken with Dr. Watson, and he's also confirmed that Dini society was mostly ignorant of the existence of the Baro. In any case, before any real conflict could arise between the people of Dini and Terani, a plague swept throughout Terani and caused the deaths of most of the Rone living there. It was found that the Dini were carriers of diseases from their own history that the Terani had no defenses against. The slaves of Terani revolted against the Rone that survived and broke the control of the Rone people over that world. Atris and the Dini who were with him returned to Earth, where Atris decided that the only real solution for Dini was to write a new age where they could go to live in peace. This was the inception of Erlishan, and when Atris announced the plan to the Dini survivors the next day, it was met with unanimous and enthusiastic support. Atris began working up design notes for Erlishan on April 4th of 1813 and began writing it on the 21st of that month. Okay, next. The next glyph represents the birth of Yisha and Tomana in the year 1815. Around that time, Atris finished writing Erlishan. The Dini moved in and began construction of a new city, this time on the surface of the world where they could live in the sunshine. By the way, that was it was during the time when he was working on Erlishan, or sometime around that time, that Atris constructed Tomana and they moved there. Okay, let's see. This next glyph represents the events of the 1820s when Yisha learned of her two brothers still being alive in prison ages. She decided to visit them and learn more about them. Cyrus found out that he had a sister in 1820, and while he was first learning how to make bombs out of the crystals of Spire, a process he completed 4 years later when he tricked Atris into sending him a sample of Nara and learned the sonic frequency needed to destroy it. When Yisha first met him in 1822, Cyrus immediately began a campaign of deception about his true character just on general principles. In the next year, 1823, he concocted a plan to steal her body in order to trick Atris into teaching him how to write. Okay. And the next glyph. After the death of Cyrus and Achenar, when Yisha was old enough, she left Tomana to live alone in the Cleft. At that time, she was on a journey of self-discovery as her mind was still damaged from Cyrus' attempt to remove or to take over her body. Okay, next glyph.
So these were painted by the Baro?
Yes, these are all baroglyphs.
I mean, they sure do know a lot about Atris and his family. I mean,
I mentioned early on that when they contacted Yisha and decided that she would be the one who would save them, they became extremely interested in her and her life, and studied it quite a bit.
So,
And
so
also,
they go
they
ahead.
get we're talking about a lot of this being relayed to them by Yisha.
But those drawings of like Tamana and whatnot are awfully accurate. So the
Well,
Barrow
yeah,
had visited Tamana, and okay.
undoubtedly. They get
Rella confirmed in one of the, it was either on the old Myst Online forums or in one of the listservs, but he confirmed that these glyphs were created by the Barrow.
Yes.
Mhm. But no, they could go anywhere. So they can why not?
Okay.
In any case, in the next glyph, this is when Yisha traveled to Denis, and while exploring Agra Island, she crossed paths with Callum, a surviving master of the Guild of Writers. He recognized a talented pupil when he saw one and took her on as his apprentice. After an initially rocky start because of Callum's resistance to Yisha's wild ideas about how to write, ideas she picked up from her father and mother, he came to accept her approach and helped her create a fusion of traditional Denis techniques and what she had learned from her parents. When Yisha first apprenticed to Callum, she wondered if he was the grower predicted in Words of the Watcher. Callum, for his part, began to wonder if she was. It was around that time that the Barrow noticed them and began giving them hints about their existence. After Callum was murdered and Yisha defeated his killer, the Barrow began to teach her about their version of the art, and she added their methods to her new style. And that was about the time frame when she began to think she was the grower. The next glyph may represent, I should say, Yisha formulating her plan to free the Barrow. This would become her life's work and defined who she was right up until Dr. Watson finally accomplished what she could not. At first, she developed a method that freed one Barrow at a time by using explorers, and I believe that may be represented in this glyph. By the way, Arte has a differing viewpoint on that one Barrow per person thing. He believes that she may have freed up to 4 of them at a time, since there were four pillars.
Yeah, if you look at if you visit the upper balcony in the neighborhoods, there's a stele there, and you can see the scenes go from the bottom left to the top to the bottom right. And at the bottom right, you see the 4 poles in the cave and 4 Barrow right there. And when we exit the Cleft after completing the first journey, you see 4 Barrow climbing the volcano and disappearing into the caldera.
Where we've agreed to respectfully disagree with each other on that one, but
Yes, we do.
because of there are various reasons why I believe that it's only one at a time. One of which was a statement by Yisha, in which she said about the pillars, "You hold the precious soul of a Barrow in your hands," implying one.
But she also said before that, that take this last pole, you have the precious soul of a Barrow.
In any case,
at any rate,
yeah. The next glyph shows Yisha in Denis along with what may be a group of explorers. Yisha's plan to free the Barrow by using explorers was given by a Denis name, Zanni, a portmanteau of the words Xander, meaning gravity, and the name Denis. So, in effect, it means drawn to Denis. She and her assistant, Jeff Zandy, guided the people who arrived at the Cleft into what's called the Path of the Hand. The nickname comes, of course, from the spiral hand symbol on its journey cloths. Each time an explorer completed the quest, the Baro were freed from the influence of the Master Tablet that they were bound to. Many explorers became disillusioned, however, after finishing the Path of the Hand, feeling that Yisha had used them and then cut them loose with no purpose for being in the cavern any longer. Her influence and teachings also caused rifts in the DRC, who were not part of the plan and who simply wanted to rebuild Denis and make it safe for people to visit and live in. The board members were at wit's end because of the backbiting and infighting caused by some of their contractors' sympathy with Yisha's stated philosophies, and because of the influence of people with no affiliation to the DRC greatly increased the possibility of accidental injuries and deaths. It also drained their finances because they felt that they had to help take care of people who came into the cavern, who were all interlopers, or whether they were interlopers or not, and very few of whom brought their own supplies. The next glyph represents the time when Yisha was concentrating on the secret of the stone tablet that somehow bound the Baro to Denis. The second person in the glyph is her nemesis, Escher. Escher was a Denis survivor who also thought that he was the grower mentioned in the prophecy, and who also wanted to claim the tablet. Both Yisha and Escher failed at the test that had to be passed in order to be accepted as the tablet's master. They also learned that one could only undertake the quest once. Thus, both began to assist explorers who had stumbled across the quest, while each trying to sway the explorer into doing what they wished with the tablet. This battle ended when Dr. Richard A. Watson gained control of the tablet and decided to give the tablet to the Baro instead of either Yisha or Escher. And that is it. Right smack on time. So we are now done with the tour of the Cleft, and we'll be moving on next month.
Good job, Larry. One person had a question that I said you'll probably answer during the Baroglyphs tour. Shyla O'Brien asks, is there any canon verdict on Callum's murderer? It would be very dark if it was the Baro in order to get Yisha on their side.
No, and it definitely wasn't. One thing that can be said for certain is that it wasn't the Baro. The Baro, first off, didn't know that Yisha... Ouch. Didn't know that Yisha was going to be the one who would campaign to free them. At least not at that time. As at that point, I believe they had made contact, but Yisha had not yet formulated her plan to free them. And then
and also,
we will be talking about this in a later tour, so I'm not going to go into any further detail.
Yeah, there is a bad guy though depicted on those baroglyphs that we're going to be seeing at that time,
correct.
Right?
Correct.
Okay. So hints of things to come. Make sure to come to all the tours. So at this point, do you want me to make the closing comments?
Absolutely. And
okay.
I'm going to bring up, let's see,
the schedule of events, probably.
Yep. Let's see, I need to get that.
Well, yes, for those of us who are still in game, let's give a huge round of applause for Larry and Arte and Zeke, who had to leave early, and Mirfak. We have an incredible team this season. And next month's tour, each tour is the fourth Saturday of each month, is going to be Saturday, August 27th. So please mark that on your calendars. Same time, 11 key time.
Charlie copies. I'm committing
And
1 supporting the
according
PMC.
to my
Sorry. Hold on a
Acknowledged.
sec.
Just
Go
until
ahead.
it dies down over.
No, I just
Platoon Alpha in contact with enemy infantry I-6.
something started up automatically that I did not want to start up automatically.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
Now I'm looking at our tour schedule for next month. I'm not going to tell you where we're going, but I am going to tell you that some of this content is going to be content you may have never seen before. So make sure you don't miss that tour, August 27th. Yes, Larry, did you say something or?
No.
Okay.
I just, but by the way, in the stream, I just put up today's events.
Oh, great. Well, let's start off with Arte. I'm sure you have your events to announce.
As a matter of fact, I do.
Yay!
Story Night Europe begins at 1400 key time, so about an hour. And we're going to continue with the history of the Denis Kings, with the story of the 25th and 26th Kings for Story Night Europe. I had some technical difficulties last week, so there was no story. And then tonight, for original Story Night at 2330 key time, it'll be just a single story of the 26th King.
So you're, go ahead.
I'll say we gather about 30 minutes ahead of the story. So 1330 key time, we gather in Sano's Hood for the story, and at 2300 key time for original Story Night.
For your pre-story chat.
Exactly.
Awesome. And do you also want to mention your Dunny language lessons? Are you still carrying those out?
Absolutely. I use the avatar Shokutan Ren to teach the Denis language. There's an introductory course that teaches you how to read Denis. And then there's an advanced course that teaches you how to speak Denis. But the advanced course is not for the faint-hearted, because it's like putting an entire college semester of language into summer school, or entire year of what you might learn in a year of learning French, but it's Denis, and it's in like 10 weeks time, so, or 8 weeks. But there's open classes. I teach, I'm available to teach classes. I used to teach groups, but I found it's better for the students if it's one-on-one instruction.
Oh.
And so there's class availability from 10 key time. These are start times, by the way. 10 key time through noon key time. And then 2000 key time to 2200 key time. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And right now there's 2 active instructors, myself and Anathea, who goes by the moniker of Shokutan Anna.
Oh, interesting. And would you like to provide the key numbers so they can send you key mail?
Sure, I got that. I have to look up.
Okay.
And as
I have it.
An aside, if you send a key mail, you have to include your key mail in the body of the key mail. Otherwise, I have no way of contacting you. As I understand it, the Open Ooh team are going to change that at some point in the future. I don't know if it's for the fix that's coming out this coming week or if that's still something for the future.
Terrific. Thank you, Arte. As far
Do you
as
have
the
my
other,
do you
Go
have my
ahead.
key
Yeah.
numbers handy? Because I'm trying to
Yeah.
look that up.
I typed it in Age Players chat.
Okay.
80428. And as far as the other event going on today at 1600, there's karaoke in the New Messengers New Messengers Pub.
Oh, and Shokotan Anna's key number is
Okay.
11147421.
421. Thank you very much. And with that said, this tour is closed, and we hope to see you next month, August 27th.
Take care, everyone.
Oh, and before we forget, I don't know if we thanked Murphac, but without him, these
Yes.
tours would not be possible.
Oh,
So,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, I included him.
Okay.
He's awesome. And that hawk ride was especially fun.
Okay. And that's it for now. So I am going to end the stream and see you all next month.